As the end of the year approaches, it's time for us to lock into our winter arc and ensure that we're setting ourselves up with the most incredible foundations, strategies, routines to have an incredible start to the year ahead. Now, the truth is that in the final few months of the year, a lot of us can feel really anxious, stressed, or even depressed as we reflect on unaccomplished goals, the way that time has passed us by so quickly, or the fact that we're still stuck in so many unhealthy habits. But we are not about that life over here. We are not going to be dwelling on all the past mistakes, getting stuck in cycles of negative thinking, playing the victim card, or even just feeling so full of worry about all of the things that could have happened, because the past is gone, it's done, it's either a lesson or a blessing for us. And what we're going to do is we are going to reflect on it in a way that is going to benefit us in the future. We're going to make sure that all the time that we've wasted, all the potential we've wasted, it is a lesson for us. And we are not going to procrastinate anymore. We are going to lock in and build those amazing habits that are going to really serve us now and also in the future. Procrastination is one of the main things that leads on to wasted time, energy, resources, even mental space. And so this video is going to be all about how we can eliminate procrastination from our lives as much as possible and finally start focusing and really making progress. And seeing those small moments of progress before the next year even starts is going to set you off on such a good path where you'll just be feeling so motivated and hopeful. The first thing we're going to do is forgive ourselves for all of the past procrastination, because honestly, you are not alone. So many of us, literally all of us, experience procrastination. Some of us experience it more intensely than others, but every single one of us experiences it at some point or another. And it does hold us back. It does lead to wasted time and energy, but it's not something that we need to dwell on and beat ourselves up about, because the more you reflect on feeling guilty, because there's just so many negative emotions surrounding procrastination. It's full of guilt and shame, especially in the hustle culture we live in that values productivity so much. It can lead onto you feeling as though you're worthless, or you're a failure, or you've wasted so much time and energy and you're nowhere near your goals, and you just end up doing so much negative self-talk, and that actually holds you back. According to Professor Fuchsia Soros, those students at university who had been procrastinating a lot, but they were willing to show self-compassion and forgive themselves and realize that it's because they were dealing with really overwhelming emotions, or they had a lot going on, or it's something everyone deals with. They performed so much better than those students who were procrastinating but then decided to give into the negative self-talk and the self-hate and showed no compassion for why. You know, there's always underlying reasons for why you're procrastinating, which we are going to get into, but they showed no compassion for themselves. They were speaking to themselves in really horrible ways, like, why could you, how did you do this, why did you do this, you're so awful, you're such a failure. And that negative self-talk that I think a lot of us can relate to, the students who were doing that, they continued to be stuck in cycles of procrastination for so much longer. And so it's incredibly important to actually forgive yourself for all of the past procrastination. You did it for a reason. Maybe there was something going on with your mental health. Maybe it was really overwhelming. Maybe you were really struggling with the tasks at hand. There are so many different things that lead onto you procrastinating. It's not as simple as, oh, I'm lazy, or oh, I'm a failure, or I don't have a good mindset. It's never that simple. So we are going to let go of the past, and we are just going to show so much self-compassion for the old versions of ourselves, and we're going to understand that we did everything that we did for a reason, and we are going to learn from it. Okay, it's not about being complacent and forgiving ourselves and then continuing on in that pattern. You forgive yourself and then you learn the lesson that is meant to be learned from your past. Now I'm going to use one of my own examples over here, okay? So I started procrastinating a lot when I was working on my novel, The Exes, and that was because I had so many different things going on in my mind relating to fear of failure and also perfectionism, and that was all deeply interconnected with my past. Aspiring writers face a lot of rejection. The publishing industry is just very competitive, and it's just a hard industry to break into. It really is. And so I went through that whole journey, but I internalized all of that failure. So I started literally thinking of myself as a failure and having that just horrible mindset where I would beat myself up about all the past mistakes that I'd done, or all the procrastination that I'd done as a result of just dealing with really strong emotions, and I would say a lot of like shame regarding the failures that I had experienced. Once I forgave myself for everything that had gone wrong in my past, all the mistakes I had made, all the things that I just wasn't happy with about myself, I started flourishing and progressing so quickly. Honestly, once you start speaking to yourself with compassion and kindness, and through words of motivation, you will uplift yourself, and you are the only person who is always with yourself. You know, there's never going to be somebody there to constantly give you pep talks. Only you can do that for yourself. So do it for yourself. It's going to be one of the best things that you do, and it's going to set you on an amazing path in life where you will just find doors opening for you. Because when you are positive and relaxed and hopeful, you just see the world in a different way. And when you are negative and full of limiting beliefs based on past failures or rejections, or, you know, bad habits such as procrastinating, you just fixate on that, and your world narrows down so much and you lose all sense of hope and motivation. So honestly, just forgive yourself. The second point is all about building discipline gradually. This winter, we are not going to be setting ourselves impossible goals, like completing all the things we wanted throughout the year that have stacked up, and we just expect ourselves to do it within 1 or 2 months. It is not possible, and what it's going to do is that it's going to lead you onto procrastinating even more. So we are going to build discipline gradually. Procrastination is deeply rooted in overwhelming emotions that are largely negative and full of limiting beliefs like, I can't do this task, this is so hard, how can I start, there's just so much to do, I'll never get it done. So when you give yourself really difficult tasks to do, it just makes you not want to do them at all. For instance, if you are not a morning person and you are telling yourself, I'm going to be waking up 6 a.m. every single day for the rest of the year, honestly, you are setting yourself up to fail. And then what's going to happen is that you are going to be feeling bad about it. You're going to be convincing yourself you're a failure, and then you are going to procrastinate even more, and you're going to just be stuck in that cycle. So instead of setting all of these really, really high standards for yourself, start small and build up to what you want to get at. Start setting yourself small, achievable goals and feel so proud of yourself when you win at them, and that will provide the momentum for you to do more and more. So instead of trying to wake up at 6 a.m. if that isn't your thing, maybe just try to wake up 10 minutes earlier, 20 minutes earlier, and before you know it, if you keep at that just a few minutes earlier, you will be able to wake up at 6 a.m. It's not going to happen overnight though. It's not going to happen straight away. You have to make it a gradual process. And this is the perfect time to start. Get your winter arc right. And before you know it, when the next year starts, you'll already be so close to living your ideal lifestyle and routine. It's because you've practiced it. You've built yourself up for it. The third point is all about changing your perception of the tasks in your life. Now, a lot of the time when we procrastinate, we aren't even feeling overwhelmed by the task at hand. We are feeling overwhelmed by all the emotions surrounding what we think it's going to be like to do a certain task. So it may in fact just be a fairly small task, but we are making it out to be so difficult in our minds, and that is what's leading us to not want to start in the first place. And a lot of the times when you do actually start the task, you're like, oh my god, this is what I was stressing about. This is a psychological phenomenon called effective forecasting. It's where we predict how we are going to feel in a certain situation. Something that really helps me to change my perception of the tasks in my life is to actually romanticize my life. Even if things are challenging, or, you know, I'm dealing with negative things at times, which is literally part of life. Everyone goes through that. I tell myself, this is my journey. This is part of my success story. And I romanticize my life so intensely. I literally feel like the main character in a movie. And I start enjoying that, because the truth is that when you're watching a movie, you don't want to see the characters stay the same from the beginning to the middle to the end. You want to see the growth of that character. You want to see the way they problem solve in different situations. You want to see the way they tackle difficult scenarios and how they grow as a result of them all. The next point is all about time management techniques for goals. Now, the truth is that if you set yourself a goal, but you never set a deadline for it, chances are you're never going to get there. It's never going to happen. It's never even going to cross your mind. You literally need to set yourself dedicated times throughout your days for achieving certain goals, and also the deadline by which you hope to achieve that goal. One of the things that can really lead onto a lot of procrastination is when things feel so big and daunting and overwhelming, and you just don't know how you're going to achieve what you want to achieve. So for instance, I'm a writer, and a lot of the times in the past, whenever I would start working on a new project, I would get so anxious and I would start procrastinating. And it was deeply rooted in this idea of, I have to write a whole book. Just so many overwhelming thoughts surrounding it. And I realized all I had to do was actually slot in time every day for a few hours to work on my project, to work on my novel, and to just be super dedicated with that time. I slotted in time for what I needed to do in my daily routine, and then I just didn't let myself fixate on all the horrible thoughts that were going around in my mind, which are usually the main reasons people procrastinate. It's the horrible thoughts, it's the anxiety, it's the negativity. And if you set yourself dedicated hours for having to do the tasks you need to do in order to get closer to your goals, and you do not, be lenient with yourself. If that is your time and you've scheduled it in, just sit down and just do it. The moment you start, like for me, the moment I started writing, like I got one page done, second page, third page, everything else went into the background. All of the negative thoughts, all of the anxieties. I was just getting things done. And as I started seeing that I'm progressing, the self-belief kicked in, more productivity kicked in, and I was so much more likely to just keep that workflow going. The next point is all about rewarding yourself. Now, we are so quick to judge ourselves and be self-critical whenever we get things wrong. But when we get things right, or we do something amazing, or we accomplish something, or even if we have a good day where we're positive and productive, do we really sit back and congratulate ourselves enough? I don't think so. You honestly need to give yourself a round of applause, pat yourself on the back, be so proud of yourself that you got through almost a whole other year. Another year full of so much, just struggle. Everyone has their struggles. So much going on in the world. There's so much negativity out there. And like, you got through it all. There were so many setbacks. There were so many strong emotions. There was so much negativity surrounding you, but you pulled yourself up. Every day you showed up. Every day you kept getting out of bed, and you should be so proud of yourself. And that is going to honestly give you such a boost of motivation, confidence, self-belief. That is going to be a powerful form of banishing procrastination. You're just going to want to get on with things because you're going to remember all the other times that you did it. You managed to get through it. You progressed. It's amazing. You are amazing. Something that I've started doing is actually rewarding myself in the moment. So instead of, just ignoring it every time I get something right, or every time I wake up extra early and get myself to the gym, or just do even the small things, which are actually really the big things, because the small habits, they add up to lead to amazing things. So anytime I do anything that I'm proud of, I actually reward myself. And I've come up with this system where, for instance, if I do a solid hour of work on a novel that I'm writing, then I will give myself a break and watch something on Netflix, and do it in a guilt-free way and just enjoy it. And that's like a treat to myself. And it's such a good system because it motivates me to get the work done, because I know I'm going to get a reward at the end of it. And then I can actually enjoy all the things that I really like doing in life. Once you've got a reward system in place, you'll realize that actually there's like a nice balance to your life. You're not going too much into the hustle culture and constantly working and burning yourself out. And you're not going too much into the side, which is just all about relaxation and not growing. You will never experience true self-growth if you are constantly just focusing on indulging in all the things that you enjoy and taking it far too easy on yourself. It's all about the balance, and having a nice system of work and reward setup is going to get you to that balance so beautifully. The last point is all about progress over perfectionism. Doing a task imperfectly is much better than not doing it at all. If you're somebody who finds themselves procrastinating a lot because of perfectionism, because of waiting for the right moment to start, because of being a right kind of person to start a kind of task or to start one of your goals, honestly, get that out of your mind. You literally have to start before you're ready. Everyone is imperfect. Humans are beautifully, perfectly imperfect. You are never going to be the most perfect version of yourself. You are constantly going to be a work in progress. And that's one of the beauties of being human. So stop being so self-critical and waiting to start. Start in your imperfect, messy, chaotic, all over the place, hot mess state. Just start. The mindset of progress over perfectionism is one of the most incredible and powerful ways to beat procrastination, because you aren't focusing on getting everything right or being a certain kind of person to do certain tasks or achieve certain goals. You are just focusing on progress. You're just focusing on doing the actions. You're focusing on putting one step after the next. And then before you know it, you'll be exactly where you wanted to be. And you started in a state where you were unsure, you were anxious, you were nervous, but you did it. You went for it, and that is the only reason you ever got to the place that you wanted to be. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really hope you found all of those tips to beat procrastination really helpful. They've really changed my life around, and I'm so excited to hear more about what's going on in your lives. Let me know in the comment section below what your journey with procrastination's been like, or how it's currently going, and what your hopes are for your winter arc this year. Please do remember to support me through liking, commenting, subscribing, all of that good stuff, and I will catch up with you guys next time. Bye!